So today we're going to talk about how technology will help women to conquer times of crisis. What I would like to do is basically share with you some of my thoughts, some of ideas about the history first. I think it's very important to look at the past in order to understand the future. So what I'm going to share with you today is basically their ideas. So I don't want you to think that you are told to think in a certain way or to believe in a certain way. And it's not conditioning. So I would like to start first by asking you to tell me what is the difference between sex and gender. And by the way, you can share your camera, you can open your camera and microphone. It will be interesting to kind of have an exchange. So please feel free to do so if you wish. All right. So basically, when we're talking about sex and we're talking about gender, there is a difference between the two. Sex is basically a biological kind of aspect of the Homo sapien, while gender is a social construct. It's a social definition to kind of differ or to make a difference between male and female. So anything that is called feminine and masculine, it's purely social context. From social context, it's purely a social invention. But sex, it is you are a male or you are a female. It is it's biology. It is what it is. But somehow throughout history, humans tend to use and confuse sex and gender to justify whatever ideas. So unfortunately, you cannot see my screen, but in the past, men used to wear dresses, including the King of France, Louis. And if you look at different historical kind of period of times, the Roman Empire, or even at Albania, the way men used to dress, it always included and involved dresses. It included wigs and makeup. So that was the best version of looking at man. That was the definition of how man should look like. Nowadays, it's different. Everything related to makeup, everything related to dresses, wigs, is related to women. Now, the picture of a man is a masculine, a strong, someone who doesn't smile, someone who's tough. That's the image of man, and which is usually related to or kind of, defined with power. So this to show you that the definition or the concept of female and male, masculine and feminine, has changed throughout history. And usually thinkers bring ideas to explain to us how we should look at certain things, including the differences between men and women. And those ideas shape our behavior, shape our understanding of our environment, our surrounding, and explains our actions in our future. So if, for instance, if we look at different things that are related or linked to boy or girl, masculine and feminine, male or female, you can see that everything related to caring, gentle, sweet, weak is always related to women. Everything related to cleaning is related to women, but everything related to power, to strength, is related to men. For instance, the gender roles. Have you ever, and I can challenge each one of you, have you ever heard of we hear about housewife, but have you ever heard of houseman or house husband? We don't hear about this kind of concepts when it comes to men, but we do get used to hear them when it comes to women, and this becomes part of our norm, and we tend to believe that's the natural order of things, that there are certain functions, there are certain roles that women play, and there are certain roles that men play, because that's the norm, that's how it is. But unfortunately, biology has nothing to do with that. It is purely our own conception and our own imagination. And that's why throughout history, women have been excluded from a lot of different fields. And this will bring us to interesting kind of ideas and thoughts that have shaped philosophy, have shaped science, have shifted history. And I would like to start with a great philosopher, Aristotle. All of us have read about Aristotle and have been inspired by him and his ideas. And Aristotle is a great thinker, definitely. He's a great philosopher who used his thinking and his ideas to explain different theories, including the inferiority of women. He said that because women have fewer teeth, they are inferior to men. So at the time, with lack of technology, of course, and resources, he used that as a way to prove why women should be excluded from a lot of different fields at the time, including being part of philosophical debates. Now let's look at a different thinker, Plato. A lot of writings and a lot of authors have recognized that Plato was one of the rare philosophers at the time who recognized women's rights. However, he believes that men who fail to be kind of correct and good in human life, they will come after life in a version of woman. Whatever that means, it's not good. And then let's look at Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, who is a great philosopher who basically shaped the philosophy and the human thinking in France, who basically was the person behind the social contract that has inspired a lot of legal frameworks throughout the world and throughout history, who basically believed that women and men should have access to same rights to education. However, they should be educated differently. Women should be educated enough to be able to teach the children of her husband, while men, they need to be educated to become a great thinkers. So this leads us to the saying that men come from Mars and women come from Venice. This statement has actually becoming a certain cultural saying when women is talking and men is like tired of hearing them. They will be like, okay, women are from Venice and men from Mars. And this actually saying has been also shaped in psychology by the father of psychology, Freud. For those who don't know, Freud has been quite a figure in terms of shaping the field of psychology. And he did a lot of research on women and men. And he said that women's kind of sexual organs and bodies are here to please the man and to make the life of man comfortable. Those who refuse to play this role, they will become lesbians. So this is what Freud, the father of psychology, believed in women, about women, and his thinking have shaped psychology for a long time. And because of lack of investment in understanding women's bodies, women's brains, women's psychology, this has been believed and has been enforced in a lot of societies. Now let's go and look at, I think, the genius, Charles Darwin, the person behind evolution, the theory of evolution, who has actually defeated a lot of cultural and social theories about the human body and the human evolution, who basically said that women are inferior than men from biological aspect because they are not breadwinners. And it would be against the rules of biology in the universe if women played a different role. So why would I share with you all these ideas? It's basically to show you how great thinkers and great philosophers and great scientists have shaped our understanding of the differences between men and women, and how those ideas have been used and engraved in our minds, and we believed in them as a norm, which actually explain why today we have a long-lasting inequality between men and women. Women's issues or gender inequality is the longest social systematic inequality in history. And this has been the case because it has been backed up by ideas of great philosophers, of great thinkers, who we trust in them, and we trust in their intelligence and their ideas, but has damaged our human history, our humanity, and it damaged the balance between Homo sapiens so far. So, great thinkers used a lot of examples of animals as well. For instance, lions, why the lion is the king of the jungle. However, it's the lioness who is actually the person, the animal who goes and hunts. How we excluded examples of certain animals like black spider. The female black spider would eat the male spider after an intercourse. Does that mean that women are stronger and superior than men? If scientists like Charles Darwin would use lions, would use chimpanzees as an example to explain why there is a hierarchy in the animal kingdom, which basically explain why we have a hierarchy in the Homo sapien system. So I'm sharing with you all these examples to show you that these ideas have shaped our cultural attitudes as well. In China, for those who don't know, and unfortunately you cannot see my screen, you can, in China, there is this culture that now it's very rare. You can find it only in certain villages. But there is this cultural kind of practice in which women are about to bound their feet until they are so small, because that was a sign and a symbol of beauty that would excite sexually a man. And this has been basically an idea that women, if she doesn't have a small feet, she's not fulfilling her social role as a woman. And that practice has damaged health-wise and psychologically a lot of women in China. You would ask, where does this idea come from? In Mexico, in the region of Maya, there is a cultural group who basically would rape a woman if she would go out at night, and that is accepted because it's part of the culture in the Maya region in Mexico. You have also genital mutilation, which is a practice, cultural practice in different countries, especially in African countries, where basically the idea is to purify the body of the women to make sure that she's pure, to fulfill the needs of the man. And this has been proved in many, many places that it damaged the health of the women, and also it damaged their sexual desires. You have also honor killing. Honor killing, that is a serious issue in different countries. Recently in Iraq, sorry, not in Iraq, in Jordan, a young girl has been killed by her family because she went out for a coffee with her husband-to-be, her fiancé. And the honor killing is accepted in so many different cultures and so many different societies because the women are the holders of the honor. So they need to make sure that they don't do anything wrong, or that would damage the whole reputation of the family, which means that women should not explore anything about life. They are there to get married and have kids, and life's gone. So this is basically also a part of a cultural practice in different countries. You have also virginity tests. Virginity tests, for those who don't know, in so many countries, especially from my region where I come from, before getting married, the man, the husband-to-be, asks the wife-to-be to kind of show that they are basically virgin. So there are two ways. There is a midwife who would come and check on the female organ of the woman to make sure that she's virgin, or there is, you can go to a doctor and the doctor would write a certificate assuring that you are virgin, which means you are worthy to get married. So these are some of the ideas that basically shape our understanding of gender differences and that become part of our daily life. And we accept them because that's how it is. Our grandmothers, our grandmothers, our mothers lived with it, and it's part of society. And they make you believe that's how it is, and you should accept it. Now we are living in a different era. For the past few years, we've seen quite interesting movements across the globe. We've seen women asking for their rights, denouncing social injustices, denouncing violence, denouncing discrimination. And we start to question a lot of different things, including the investment that we put into understanding women's rights issues. And with technology, we've seen a new era of different possibilities. With technology, you can sit wherever you are. Wherever you are, whether in the US, whether in China, whether in Zambia, whether in Yemen, you can connect in a computer and you explore a world of so many possibilities. You have so much space for you to imagine a different world. So we became to believe that it's a great opportunity for women. Technology would actually allow women to explore new possibilities, new opportunities. However, with technology, it's even more tricky. I'm not sure if you've heard about what happened in Google when an engineer called James Damore wrote a memo where he explained why women lack skills of leadership and why we don't see many women in leadership positions in tech. He explained that because of their biological differences and not because of discrimination. He doesn't believe that in tech world there is discrimination against women. He believes that because of the biological differences between men and women make women unqualified to become to be in senior positions and leadership positions in tech companies. So this is someone who sits behind the computer and basically the person who's putting all the indexes, all the keywords that you as a woman you are using. We've seen also another case in Amazon, which also denounced this case where basically the keywords that have been used in Amazon have been highly discriminatory against women. So the people behind this tech, they are humans at the end of the day, and they manipulate information according to their understanding. And because we grew up in societies, in environments where we tend to believe that the ideas in our environment are the ultimate truth, we start to believe that everything we see around us is the norm when we start to believe in it, and we are starting to project it in our attitude, in our action. And this explains why we have so many discrimination systems across the globe. So as I said, behind these computers, behind data institutions, centers, we have humans. And in the tech field, we have majority are men. Women are almost excluded in this field. So these engineers are humans, are men who are who grow up in different cultures, in different beliefs, and they have certain understanding. And sometimes it becomes, indirectly, spontaneously, you are acting a certain way without really examining and questioning why. And that's why it is important for us to understand that. We've seen the example of Cambridge Analytica, who manipulated humans' data and behaviors to allow a certain political party to win elections. So this shows you that actually every application that you are using, every single form that you are filling online is actually going to be used in a certain way to define your behavior about a certain issue. So sometimes when you meet certain people and you discuss certain social taboos or social issues, and then you see that their understanding is quite extreme, you need to wonder what is the source of their information. So that's why it is important for us to understand that the people or the parties behind controlling the data, they are the ones who have the control of defining our future, our systems, and our humanity. And that's why I think it is very important to understand that tech is not genderless. Tech is not neutral. Tech is a tool. It is used by humans, and humans make it genderless or not genderless, make it neutral or not neutral. And that's why it is very important that first thing that we do is to raise awareness about the issue, and then ask for the right tools to put in place, the right regulations, the right legal framework, and then seek solutions. It is very important that each one of us play that role. If we want to define a different society, a different humanity, a better humanity for everyone. Now, with what's happening in the world, with the digital revolution, with the coronavirus crisis, we are going to experience a very, very serious and challenging times. Not just because of loss of jobs. We will see that a lot of women will be affected, will be marginalized in the market, job markets, they will be excluded. But also the way we will kind of live in our societies, the different new system of discrimination that will grow from this type of crisis. And the digital revolution, the exclusion of women from tech, the coronavirus crisis are just few of the crises that we're going to live in the near future. So it's up to each one of us to do something about it. You can act by just raising awareness, talking to your surrounding, talking to your friends, talking to your colleagues. Try to make sure that you raise this discussion about gender differences wherever you are. This way you can contribute to change for everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm not sure if you have questions. There are a lot of messages here. I couldn't read everything, but if you have any question, if you have any comments, if you want to kind of also share your ideas, as I mentioned to you at the beginning, this is basically just my kind of insight of looking at the issue of women in tech. So maybe you have brilliant ideas that you would like to share with everyone. Thank you so much for your nice comments. How to raise awareness in the workplace without offending men who often feel victimized? Very good question. Very good question. I think in the workplace, I'm sure like in every organization, there is a human resources department. At Womenpreneur, which is my organization that I'm running, we do provide a lot of programs and strategies, working with companies, organizations to define gender strategies and programs and raise certain discussions and workshops about this. So I would suggest that you first go to your human resource department, ask them about possibility of organizing certain events to discuss gender. Now, a lot of companies are aware of the issue matter, so they're trying to do different actions to actually discuss this and find solutions. And then I think you need to have a qualified trainer to kind of moderate the discussion. But personally, between you and your colleagues, I think it's always about the way you talk about the issue matter. Maybe instead of make it personal, kind of pointing out to your colleague, you could just probably share a story. Share a story about a woman or a man and a situation where a woman was a victim of discrimination, and ask your colleague, what does he think about it? What would be his reaction? And I think you can also raise certain discussions about certain problems in a way that the discussion is not emotional, but more objective and scientific. This way, there is an exchange without people feeling like, that you are attacking them or you are pointing out to them. So I think this could be some ways for you to use when you discuss these issues. How do we highlight instances of gender bias, microaggression without fear of backlash, negative? I think it is important to highlight the social injustices, and today we should not shy away from doing that. I do understand that in certain areas it is very difficult to raise this kind of discussions because of the environment, the social taboos. But again, I think tech is providing us online spaces where we can reach out to different targets, especially young people, and discuss these sensitive topics with them without fearing for your life or for your security. So that's why technology is a tool, again, to use for this kind of situations. I feel like my Middle Eastern upbringing has hindered me in many ways that other men in my profession haven't had to deal with. I do agree with you, Salma. I come from the MENA region as well. So yeah, the culture is very patriarchal, very masculine. You are raised with a lot of limits, with a lot of constraints, while you will see your brothers, your cousins who are growing up with a lot of freedom, a lot of opportunities. And I think the change comes from us, from our action, from our kind of examining first this attitudes in this environment, and make sure that you detach yourself from it, and make sure that you feed your mind with positive messages, and make sure that you say to your mind that this environment does not project who you are and your worth. This environment has been created by humans, because everything around our societies is a human creation. It's from human imagination. And then you can start by doing simple acts until your environment are used to the fact that you are different, and they are used to respect your freedom, and they are used to believe that those certain acts are part of the norm as well. And I think that would create a revolution of minds. How do you stay motivated seeing these disadvantages? I stay motivated because I meet people like yourself, and I stay motivated because my mission is to empower women, especially in the MENA region where I work. And therefore, for me, in every problem, I see an opportunity. That's how I keep myself going on. Any more questions? Thank you, Celine. I hope you will use it in your workspace, and please feel free to get in touch with me and stay in contact. I will share with you my emails to everyone. You can stay in touch. Here is my email, and we could collaborate with some of you or all of you in the future, and we could definitely have opportunities to discuss more about these gender issues. You can also follow up our events and activities and take part of it, and hopefully to benefit you in your work. All right, everyone, if you have no more question, I will let you be. And I really enjoyed this discussion. Thank you for having me. And please make sure that you do something about this. You have a really a great weight in changing history and changing humanity. Each one of us can do something about it. Thank you so much for having me, and have a lovely day.